My first addiction was your approval. It's such a weird job to be a comedian in recovery. Your whole job in recovery is to smash your ego. My entire existence, the reason I own a home is because people clap for me. And then having an alcoholic mom. I personally don't think anything caused my addiction because then that can still paint me as a victim. And a guy threw a can of Coca-Cola at my car and then I happened to have a tire iron. Then I took the tire iron and I smashed in his windshield and then I went, yeah, I should go back to at least 2 meetings.
Hi, everyone. Before we dive into this great podcast with Jay Mohr, I wanted to talk about something urgent. The fires in Los Angeles have been devastating and displaced so many, including those in treatment. If you or someone you know needs treatment during these horrific times, please call us. With our company, One Call Placement, we will have people actually help you find the right treatment center for you. Please don't wait. We're out of time.
To my right, Richard Taite, the man who revolutionized addiction treatment. Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you.
I'm Jason LaChance, and a certified addiction recovery coach. And on this episode of We're Out of Time, we're going to give this a James Caan, Godfather, trash can style beating. He knows why.
How much
Jay
you bench?
Mohr. How much you bench?
240, steroid free, just like you guys.
240, you called to brag about that?
Put the phone down. Other gays at the gay bar want to use it.
Jay Mohr, thanks for joining us on We're Out of Time. I had to do that. One of my favorite cast members of SNL, so that got me chills. That's like a dream come true right there, Richard.
That sketch, we had little mechanical legs because we were steroid guys, and then we had to kneel inside of chairs, and so the little mechanical legs. But if you go back and watch David Spade, they used his real legs. He's just sitting there kicking his little legs around.
Oh shit, that's too good. That's too good. It's always interesting for me. I mean, all this stuff with us with addiction starts in childhood, and I know for me, grew up in a home of addiction. So I kind of wanted to talk about with you because I know you talked about your mom not getting clean. She got clean when you were about 10?
When I was 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my first addiction was your approval.
Right.
And I think my drug addiction and alcoholism precedes my well, I know it does. For me, it precedes my actual usage. Like I was insatiable and needed more, and I had this disease of perception before I treated it with drugs and alcohol. So like my first drink was maybe 13. My first weed, I didn't smoke weed till I was like 19, but I had like, when I do my step work and stuff, I can see that I behave that way 0 to up until. It's just how I think it's just how my hard drive was installed, and then having an alcoholic mom and being the youngest kid on the block and not wondering where. I mean, I don't think that didn't help, but I personally don't think anything caused my drug addiction because then that can still paint me as a victim and something on the outside of me caused this thing.
Right. Yeah,
it's between my ears.
Yeah, that's why one of my slogans is no outside solutions to inside problems because that's where it started. Like,
well, you go to a meeting and people are like, my disease is out in the parking lot doing push-ups. I'm like, I didn't see it. I go through a lot of parking lots. I've never seen one disease out there banging out push-ups.
Right. Yeah, why do you think that people look at it as like it was some external thing? I know for me, because
because it is an external thing.
Explain on that.
And he can feel that way because it works for him.
Right.
Okay. And his life depends on it. So he's got to think that way. Okay. But a lot of it comes from our early childhoods.
Yeah.
Well, for sure.
Right. And that's an external thing. And, in AA, they talk about how, our parents did the best they could. Right. Even if they didn't. Right. You have to say that in order to codify it in your brain. But, what happens is, so for example, you're 5 years old, right? Now, remember when you were 5, you were little and everybody was big. Remember? Yeah. Okay. So if you have your father going, shut up, I'll give you something to cry about, and he smacks you or he hits you with the belt, or in my case, the cane with the brass handle, right? It's like, you can't formulate the thought, my parents are idiots because your frontal cortex isn't developed. And not only that, but you're like, if these people don't love me, if they're the ones that have me, what am I supposed to do? I must be bad. You can't say anything other than, because your frontal cortex isn't developed, I must be bad. And if you're bad, okay, every time you get disappointed, every time they hit you, every time they say, shut up, are you stupid, or whatever they say, it reinforces itself. Yeah. And pretty soon you're a 45-year-old man, you know, and your 5-year-old self is running a 45-year-old man. Yeah. And that's what but that doesn't make you a victim because, for me, it doesn't make me a victim. And the reason it doesn't make me a victim is because I can say, okay, that's what happened. Okay. Yeah. I'm the adult now. I'm the parent now, and I'm not going to be a victim. And the genius is that you figured that out and you stopped lying to yourself. And once you can get that, it works. But the thing about AA is it's always the same. And it's my foundation, man. I'm not sober today without AA. I'm not. Okay. I don't have kids. I'm not, none of it. I mean, I've been given a life, right? But the problem sometimes with AA is they feel it's the only way. Everybody's an expert on their own sobriety, and they have to believe that way because their life is dependent on it. Sure. So I understand it.
That's a very good explanation you gave, and I can quickly swing around to your side and say, yeah, that's exactly right. I have to be. You really surmised it perfectly. It doesn't do me any good to go, they messed me up.
That's right.
Because when you said, like, looking up.
Because then you're a victim.
Everybody looked really angry all the time because they had cigarette smoke in their eyes. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like going, what? And, everybody, every time you asked a question, it was like, what? So, yeah, I could see that.
Dude, this is the household I was brought up in, and you'll be able to tell exactly why I turned out the way I did.
I like that your dad had a cane, not because he had a limp, because he was like a duke.
Yeah, well, he had to beat the shit out of his...
He was a baron.
Yeah, he just had to beat the shit out of his tweens, that's all. And
Richard, get over here. I must give you a lashing now.
Smash. Oh my God, it was so bad.
Where'd you grow up?
In Encino, which is, again, scarring. Right?
Yeah.
I can't even drive through the valley, man, without having anxiety.
Yeah, it's the world's biggest consolation prize. Brooklyn and Encino. It's like,
so funny.
I can see where I really want to live from here.
Do you want to do that?
People are like, no, Brooklyn's great. I'm like, is it? You see that other place right across the river? That's pretty good too. Good. It's an island for a reason.
My parents would put all 3 of their kids in the car after they feathered our hair. And they put us in the same outfits. Like, I remember this jean outfit from head to toe with all these studs all over it. So we were like,
in this family.
We were props.
Right? Feathered hair and denim.
It was, right? And then they put us in the...
I was thinking...
No. It's horrible. They put us in the Jew canoe and they roll up the windows and they're smoking, chain smoking, Marlboro Reds, while their 3 minor children are in the car asphyxiating, and I'm Jewish. So you would think they'd be like against that, right? Asphyxiating their kids. And then the only time they opened the windows, because my mom had this big pompadour, right? With spray and wasn't moving. They rolled down the windows to throw the McDonald's, the poison that they were feeding their kids, out on the freeway.
Nice.
So these are my parents. And that's the good part.
And they wonder why we turn out a little feral, right?
Yeah, but I like that you said like the best that they could, even if they didn't, because you're like, nah, you weren't around. you definitely did not do the best you could. Like, there's a part of you deep down. That's why I think grandparents
are the best.
Have the best connection with the grandkids, because they're like, oh, I can do it better this way.
That's right.
I was talking to Buddy Hackett once about his grandkids, and he goes, I love my grandkids so much. I love my kids, but the bond I have with my grandkids supersedes the bond I have with my kids. And I asked my rabbi, what is it? What's this bond? Why am I so close to my grandkids? Why are we so connected? And my rabbi said, common enemy.
That's too good.
So we're going through, like you said, it was about 13 first time you had a drink, 19 smoke weed. I mean, you were a pretty popular kid though, right? I mean, I heard you talk about you wrestling captain, if I recollect.
Yeah, but it wasn't, look, being a wrestler is like sort of being a monk.
Sure.
It's a monastic life. And then when you throw stand-up comedy on top of it, you're really not really connecting with anybody. You have an MO and nobody understands. Nobody understands what the wrestling room is like, and fewer people understand what it's like to go to Manhattan borrowing your older sister's Pontiac Sunbird and go and park and do a 6-minute set in a bar and then get home in time to wake up for school the next day. So I wasn't popular. I was just kind of bobbing around,
Yeah.
It's classic. Friends with everybody, not really friends with anybody.
Dude, I got to stop you for a second.
Go ahead.
Because I've been dying to know something. Okay. This is like really, like you had a bucket list. This is mine. Tell me about the tire iron. Okay. That's all I care about.
All right. So 3 meetings a day for 3 years. But over almost 3 years, 3 meetings a day. Morning Zoom at 8 a.m., noon, and then 7:30 in the Palisades. 3 meetings a day. And I said to my sponsor, I go, I want to cut back and spend more time with my wife or girlfriend at the time. I said, but all these relapse stories, the first thing they say is I stopped going to meetings. And he goes, yeah, but they weren't doing 3 meetings a day. You need to make time for your family. You get sober so you can be. I go, okay. So I cut back to 2 meetings a day. I got rid of the 7:30. Then I got rid of the 8 a.m. Zoom. Now I'm doing 1 meeting a day. And then a guy threw a can of Coca-Cola at my car at a red light. And I have no idea what he's like, what the F you son? And I'm like, I literally have no idea what this guy's talking about. And he follows me. And then he throws a can of Coke at my car. And then I happened to have a tire iron. So then I took the tire iron and I smashed in his windshield. And then we went through this like high-speed chase through like Marina Del Rey. It was on. Like it was kind of scary. And then I went, I should go back to at least 2 meetings a day. Because when I don't, I punch out people's windows with a weapon.
I totally understand that, by the way.
It was just weird. Like I was like, but I got real scared. Like fighting's scary.
Fighting is scary. It is when we're older. It's
and I can
scary.
fight. Like you can fight.
I got my ass kicked like all
Well, you
the
present
time.
yourself as a guy that can.
No, I don't.
Oh yeah, you do.
I do?
Yeah, you come in. Come on, you come
Oh,
across.
that's nonsense.
Cock and a walk. Here it is. Shoulders
Oh,
back.
God.
James Purse V-neck, Cuban cigar, sweatpants.
But I think it's important to share because it's like all the shit that does really start way back when, like you said. We get that anger and all that stuff, or I could relate to what you said, but was cool with everybody, but wasn't popular with anyone. But yet, I always felt like an outsider.
Always.
Yeah. I never felt any connection, and it didn't matter, like, I did acting and all this shit. It didn't matter how much, like, applause or, hey, great job. None of it, like, filled anything.
It's such a weird job to be a comedian in recovery because your whole job in recovery is to smash your ego, and surrender it and get on your knees every morning, which I do in this. But then my entire existence, the reason I own a home is because people clap for me.
Right.
My job is subjective. If you don't like me, I don't eat. My kid doesn't go to private school, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you go on the road, people buy your tickets months in advance. He's coming. He's coming to town. Tomorrow we're going to go see him. We're going to get a babysitter. We're going to pay for parking. It's sold out. You do radio, they promote it. They got commercials that you hear when you're in an Uber, like, that's me. And then I get applause on my way to my office, the stage. I talk for an hour. If you talk while I'm talking, you get thrown out. You don't get to interrupt me. I'm the guy. I'm in charge. I say goodnight. I get a standing ovation leaving my office. And then I sit alone in a hotel room in Albany, New York for 22 hours. Like, that's insane. Like, boom, boom. And that's since you're 16 years old. That's all you know.
Yeah.
And you need it, right?
Not anymore. It became a job a long time ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, you know how you make an actor complain, you give him a job.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I got to fly to Long Island. It's like, but if I'm not going to Long Island, I'm like, how come you don't have me in Long Island?
Right.
It's,
No,
it's
that's right.
just classic.
When then really does, I mean, the substance use start to take off? I mean,
Well, I was drunk from, 21 to 26 bad. And then I quit drinking May 5th, 1998. I was like, this is crazy. And my mom being in the program, I said to a friend of mine who suggested I just have 1 or 2 drinks. It was, you know what? It was after the Suicide Kings rap party, which was at the Improv. They wanted me to roast everybody. So I pre-gamed at home, went there, had an entire bottle of champagne and some beers, had a second bottle of champagne while I was on stage. Then we switched to scotch, and I woke up the next day like crippled. Like, just trying not to crap your pants in your car.
Right.
Like just squeezing it in.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, bro. And he said, why don't you do like I do, have 1 or 2 and stop? And I said, well, because when I have 1 or 2, I'm powerless. And I said the word powerless out loud. And I was like,
that
wow.
Screwed, huh?
I'm done. Riverside and Lancashire at a red light. Yeah. So
I'm sorry.
I went to a couple longest light on earth, by the way. It's like 18 different.
Of course it does.
I went to AA on Moore Park and this, but I was loitering with intent to recover.
Right.
Yeah. So once I got through the detox on my own, then I switched. I picked up NyQuil to help me sleep on a night shoot. And then 3 bottles a day later, then I got rid of that again, went back to AA, loitering with intent to recover, like whatever, took my will back. Then it was Vicodin, Norco, Vicodin. And I had a couple like quit that, start. So that's like 2000 in the teens, 2000 teens. And then before my divorce, it was just a gaslight.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I want to feel. I needed a release.
Yeah.
So I just started snorting the pills, and then Adderall was what took me down.
How did you even get the Vicodin? Were you getting it off the streets from someone you knew?
I had some connects,
Yeah.
some ex NFL players that would give them and not use them. One guy I won't say his name, massive offensive lineman, and he gave me one of these. I go, do you have? I'm out. I need some pills. He's like, yeah, I got you. Come on over. He was living here for some reason. So I go to his house and he gives me one of those massive like GNC protein powder things, like a gallon, big thing. And I open it up and it is almost overflowing with Norcos, just these beautiful yellow footballs. And I screw it up and I go to take it and he takes it back. He goes, here's the deal. If you ever ask me for another pill, I get to beat the shit out of you. Wow. And I was like,
that's great.
That sounds great. That sounds good. Thanks.
Right.
That's fair.
Right. Totally.
So
And
do you see how excited he got when he was discussing the pills?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pain pills, playing Madden, big thing of chewing tobacco in my lip, just playing video games, that little golden hum inside me.
So how was your marriage?
Then,
Yeah.
well, it ended, obviously.
But I mean, like,
That was actually before my second marriage, through the second marriage. And then things that, out of respect to the partner,
yeah.
but maybe things they were doing, I was like, well, they get to do it, but I don't get to do it.
Right. What is maybe one of your favorite memories from Saturday Night Live, or something even where you're like, oh.
Watching Nirvana in dress rehearsal, my first week there, I wasn't in any sketches. I wrote the opening monologue. It was Charles Barkley versus Barney the dinosaur.
That's so good.
They did those like Barkley
sketch.
versus Godzilla Nike commercials. So I was like, what about Barkley versus Barney? So I had that in a can. So I was like, all right, I'm good. And then I'm in the writer's room on the 17th floor. I look up at the monitor, and so it's a Thursday. I look up at the monitor and I see Nirvana on stage. And I was like, oop, time to go to the bathroom. And I go down to the 8th floor, and I'm from here to that microwave from Cobain just screaming at me at the top of his lungs. And it was rehearsal, but they had no rehearsal speed. It was like the most important gig of their lives. Like they only knew one way, and Dave Grohl just bow, bow. And then watching Aerosmith, same setup, week 3, they re-released Sweet Emotion. And I'm closer. I'm from Me to You from Joe Perry. So the edge of the stage is right. I'm up against the edge of the stage just watching. It's an empty soundstage except for the camera, maybe, I don't know. And when that airbox on his guitar, I like started to cry a little. Like I had no idea like how important that song was. And then boing, Sweet Emotion. I was like, it's like, man, this music matters, man.
How old were you?
22.
Dude,
23.
that's so good. That's so good. At 22, you must have just been like so wide-eyed, and
I was insane.
that's so good.
So Norm Macdonald, here, there was this rewrite that happened. David Spade and Fred Wolf wrote this sketch where David Spade's a weight loss guru, like Tony Little, like guy with the ponytail, the first like elliptical. But the gag is it's really just crystal meth. He sends you crystal meth. And like they have the outline of a human body. It's like over 6 weeks, but it's like 6 hours. And then you just see a skeleton and there's a voiceover, ride the snake. And so there's a pre-filmed piece where it's Chris Farley at a drive-through window, and he goes, I'll have 14 hamburgers, 14 cheeseburgers, 14 milkshakes, 7 strawberry milkshakes, 7 vanilla milkshakes, 18 apple pies, 15 French fries. And then the voice in the box says, will that be all? And it's written like, no. And it says TBD, to be determined what this joke's going to be. 2 hours. We went back and forth in the middle of the night. Like, how about he repeats the exact same? Will that be all? No. I'll also have, and what if he changes the Cokes to Diet Cokes? Nah. Okay, what if he goes, will that be all? No. And then he repeats the exact same order. Or what if he switches out the French fries for when I say 2 hours, I mean from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., 15 grown-ups at a table struggling with this one stupid joke. And Norm Macdonald was over on a couch in the corner. We didn't know he was in the room. He goes, hey, you guys, I don't know, you got Chris at that drive-through window, and he goes, yeah, let me get all those cheeseburgers and French fries, And then the guy in the box goes, will that be all? And Chris says, yes.
That's so good.
One syllable.
Yep.
We were like a pack of dogs hunting in the wrong direction. And he just goes, and then when they show it on camera, when Chris says yes, he's got this like the program's already working for him. Like, this huge order, will that be all? Yes. Like, he's proud of himself. He could restrain himself. It's like, he says yes.
Norm was the best, man.
Oh, we lost our minds screaming, laughing.
Do you like, one of my favorite things, because I haven't seen Saturday Night Live in years.
It's good right now.
I did watch the last couple years. I love that, the thing that Dennis Miller used to do with
Weekend
Michael
Update.
Che and
Oh, yeah. Colin Jost.
Yes. When they write each other's stuff.
God, it's amazing.
It's the best thing I've ever seen.
Man of Steel, STEAL.
Dude, that was so good.
The best part was that they had Scarlett Johansson, Joe's wife, there watching him do these bits, and it's like, oh, Lord.
It's all about a big Arby's sandwich.
They did it again this year.
They do it
And
every year,
And she was like this.
Classic.
So good.
This cast seems like they're having a really good time.
Yeah.
And that's why I love, like, my secret, like, I wish I worked with that guy. It was Bill Hader.
Yeah.
Always seemed like he was having a ball. Like, Bill Hader just seemed like he was having the best time. Like, California.
Have you ever met him?
No.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah,
He's
I would love to meet him.
He's really
It's John
cool.
Malkovich and it's like, he does Keith Morrison.
Oh, so many.
Like, I love all of his impressions, and he just seemed to be in on it. We're having a ball.
Yeah, he's gifted.
Yeah.
Like, don't take comedy so seriously. It's like
Who's your favorite comedian?
George Carlin.
Me too.
Yeah.
Who's your second favorite comedian?
Pryor. I mean, it's nothing new here, Carlin, Pryor, and then it's like Chappelle, Dave Attell. I love Chris Rock.
Did you love Sam Kinison?
Liked.
Oh, I loved him.
Didn't love. Liked. It didn't age well.
No, but none of them do. Because
I know,
of the
Eddie
political
Murphy,
correctness.
Dice. Yeah. I had
No,
met
he is-
him at a
Yeah.
at a show, maybe
Yeah.
maybe 15
We're talking
years
sobriety.
right? It's like
So I
right,
blew a guy for fentanyl.
right?
I'm Andrew Dice Gay.
I love when you do Christopher Walken.
That was the first sketch I got on, was Christopher Walken's Psychic Friends Network. What's
That's
amazing is when I
amazing.
look back at clips of it, my Walken impression is horrible. It's like, yeah, I sound like I'm deaf. Like, yeah, you should call. Nobody will know. It's like, now I would do it like, yeah, you should call. No one will know. I could help you with romance. You might be in grave danger. Call me. Yeah, it's fun to do that.
You know what? Yours is
I just
great.
assume everybody's sick of it.
No,
So I'm always like on stage, I'm like,
Sick of it. That's how I wake up in the morning.
yeah.
I've got him on my phone.
Saying what? Exactly.
Richard, you got to get moving. Get up. Your employees, they're not going to yell at themselves.
How do you get him to do that?
I didn't. My buddy did it for me.
Yeah.
My buddy, how did I get him to do it?
I don't know. You're a player, man. You might know people.
Player, the most famous person I've ever had in my house is you.
That's not true.
Well, and the good thing that you do about it too is that a lot of people miss is when he gets the quiet, where he's like,
You gotta be able to do the quiet.
yeah.
Your son, fuckhead that he is.
The best scene he's ever done was in True Romance. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, he didn't stop until he left his driver's license on a dead man. Do you know me? I'm Antichrist. At the risk of being redundant, make your answers genuine.
Let me ask you a question. Have you known anybody who's died of fentanyl overdose?
No, I had a sponsee die. But no, not on fentanyl specifically. He took a bunch of pills and drank and put it on Facebook like so long. It's like, eesh. But that's what happens.
Yeah.
Get honest or get out. You know, it's yeah. And it's you go, how could you take that? It might have fentanyl in it. When I was using, great.
Yeah.
You know, they go, you hear this all the time, like, you know, you got to play the tape forward. Well, yeah, but when I'm in my addiction, if I play the tape forward, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to lose this. You're going to, great. Fuck it.
No,
Don't
the only
care.
way, the only far you get when you play it forward when you're using is you think about the detox and you're like, I'm going to keep using. I mean, that for me, if you play it forward, you can only think as long as I'm running out of drugs, I'm going to come down, right? So I better keep using drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, you know, every time I played it forward, I was thinking, you know, I'm going to be suffering.
Yeah.
So you're a crack guy.
Yeah.
So it seems like the crack and meth, very similar highs.
That's more white trash.
Just talking about the high.
You don't get the bell ringer, okay?
Yeah.
You don't get the bell ringer, but you get that. So you're a lot more, you know, you're going to paint the house
It seemed like a lot more erections on meth.
a lot more.
Meth guys are just all about rings and just putting shit everywhere.
You've done remarkably well. Like you were doing, I mean, you were always functioning, right? I mean, you were 22 years old. You were doing drugs the entire time.
I was drinking. Drugs were like 2000 teens.
But you still came out the other side beautifully. I mean, you've got a great wife. You've got great kids.
Oh, now for sure.
You've got great recovery. You've got great relationships with a bunch of guys. I talked to one this morning, Tim, right? Just a wonderful guy.
Tim Ryan's my boy. I love you, Timmy.
Yeah.
You'll
Tim's
get
the-
your teeth.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
know, right? Get your damn teeth fixed, bro.
But there's a reason why my life is so great. Because I did the work.
That's right.
And if you want what I have, do what I did.
Mhm.
Like this, if you're not happy with results, you can go back to that pipe. It'll be waiting for you.
Yeah.
But don't do half of what I did and go, well, I can't get what you got.
Yeah.
No, it's all I did for a long time. I just became this monk. Like, oh no, I'm just studying the Sanskrit. This is all I'm doing. You want to come out with this? No. It's like when I first started stand up. You want to come out with this? No, I got a spot. I got to write this joke. You want to, like, you got to be,
Yeah.
you got to, like, how, but people, you hear in meetings all the time, like, I'm really just looking for balance. Go ask Wayne Gretzky about balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ask Michael Jordan about balance. There's no balance in my life. I do recovery. And then my life also.
Yeah.
I fit my life into recovery. I don't fit recovery into my life.
Yep.
That's the only way, is through a commitment. If you don't have a contract with yourself to go when you don't want to go and to do what you don't want to do and push through it, you can't stay sober if you're an alcoholic like me.
Yeah.
Okay. If you come in surrendered already, right? Anybody can get you sober. Okay. Because you've already surrendered. You're willing to do anything and everything to stay sober.
You want to hear a couple alcoholic jokes?
Yes.
We'll close with this. Alcoholic dies of alcoholism. He's in his casket and his drinking buddies are staring down at his casket. And one of them goes, did he ever go to AA? And the other one goes, no, it wasn't that bad. Alcoholic on a deserted island finds a genie lamp and rubs it. And genie says, you get 2 wishes. He goes, all right, I want a cocktail that's never empty. He's holding it and he's chugging it for like hours, just getting smashed. He's bombed and it's still right here. And the genie eventually goes, yo, my man, you know, you got another wish. He goes, oh, I'll have another one of these. I like those.
It's so good. Do we have to ask this man where people can reach him?
Jay Mohr 37 on Instagram. And my podcast is up and running. More stories. Hit that subscribe button. Yeah.
Damn straight.
Make sure you always check out Handsome Tuesdays. One of my
Come on,
favorite
man. You know
things
what's
about
up.
following you
You know
on
what's
Instagram. I love it.
Handsome Tuesday, baby.
Handsome Tuesday.
Happy Handsome Tuesday.
Woo! All right. In your best Chris Walken voice, will you please look into this camera and say,
You're out of time. You're watching You're Out of Time. Why? We'll never know. Go outside. Go for a walk. It's Christopher Walken. Yeah. We'll see you next Tuesday. Not if I see you first.
God.
I gotta pee.
If you or a loved one is struggling, we have a number that you can call and we'll help you find the best treatment that is right for you. Our company, One Call Placement, is dedicated to helping you, and we'll find the best treatment that is right for you. So call now at 888-808-6159. Again, that's 888-808-6159.
We're out of time. Please subscribe on YouTube, click the thumbs up, and leave a comment. Please subscribe on Apple Podcast and Spotify and leave a rating and a review. And share the We're Out of Time podcast with others you know who will get value out of it. See you next Tuesday.